Girish did his product development from Ahmedabad and worked for few years and then started his own Futura and grown multifold. I remember the first job Girish did for Philips was a hold on music. Those days, those ICs were very popular. So without spending much time, I will request Girish to start his presentation.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm Girish Ranade from Future Absol Private Limited. And this is my third presentation, if I remember correctly, on Tech Forum. Thank you, Rabdeji, for giving me this opportunity, because cable harness is a very important topic, yet it was quite neglected. Nowadays, it has got a little bit of importance, more importance now. Let us go ahead with the presentation. So this is only giving overview of the technology and making understand what exactly involves in making a cable harness and what are its little quality norms. Going ahead, a little bit of my introduction. I have done electronics engineering from Baroda and post-graduation in electronics design and technology. And we are into automatic testing equipment with focus on cable harness testers and related products since 94. So it is almost more than 25 years I'm associated with wiring harness industry. So cable harness everybody knows, so I'll just brush through it. Those who do not know, because in my experience, most of the people don't know what is wiring harness, cable harness. So here, those who are from similar domain, they might know. But for those who do not know exactly, this is a wiring harness picture, one of the wiring harness. And there are various names for wiring harness, like cable harness, wiring harness. Some people call it loom, cable assembly, wiring assembly. Then what it is exactly? It is a connection, electrical connection between all electrical electronic parts. So a harness connects right from power. It connects the controller, it connects sensors, it connects actuator or load. This is with reference to a little bit of automotive reference, but in every harness, this is the primary function, to connect all electrical electronic parts together. So it is a organized set of wires. And from where this name came, actually, cable harness, as per my study, the harness word is coined by Mr. Henry Ford when he started mass manufacturing of his Ford cars. Because harness, the dictionary meaning is a घोड्याचा लगाम, or horse, whatever goes from front to back. That is so in similarity with wiring harness, in a vehicle also, wire or cables go around. So it connects all electrical electronic parts together. So there are various parts of wiring harness. Again, we'll have a look at it, look at the names, because in electronics domain, in automotive domain, in panel domain, they are slightly differently called. Now, is there a standard for wiring harness? Yes, there is a standard, IPC, which is famous for taking out or coining solderability standards, and WHMA. WHMA is Wiring Harness Manufacturing Association. It is US based. They have come out with a A620 number standard, which says acceptability requirements for cable and wire harness assemblies. This is specific for wiring harness. Otherwise, there is no other standard. There are standards for connectors, but I have not come across any other standard for wiring harness other than this. Now, where is harness used? Harness is used is almost in each and every electrical, electronic gadget, equipment, anything. Right from automotive is the most popular harness user, and then aerospace is there, medical equipments are there, factory machines are there, home electronics is there. Then, of course, electric vehicles are there, defense is there. So you name the domain, and every domain needs wiring harness. So we cannot escape out of wiring harness technology nowadays, and it is becoming, day by day, it is becoming more and more extensive. Going ahead, just a disclaimer that this presentation is not for promotion of any brand, which I will be mentioning few, because just to get acquainted to wiring harness, names are used only for information purpose. Some information which I did not know I have taken from internet. So I have cross-checked, but still there might be a little bit error here and there. Now, let us look at what are variety of wiring harnesses. The first one is aircraft wiring harness. You can see there are so many connectors, so many long wires. One can imagine, even if in a railway metro, we can see the whole bogie is connected with wiring harness. So those wiring harnesses are also wiring harnesses. Then automotive is a very popular example. I have shown taken an image from internet showing automobile four-wheeler and connected together various components. Then the harness might look something like this. It is a small harness, but there are various types of harnesses in a vehicle, not only in four-wheeler but two-wheeler, every vehicle, of course. Then this is another two-wheeler type of harness. Then this is flat cable, popularly known in electronics field, FRC, flat ribbon cable. This also needs a test equipment. So this is also called a cable assembly. Then another example is another two-wheeler harness. Then electric vehicle. This orange one is, you can see that this is electric vehicle. Then next one is a elevator harness. And next to that is a small panel used in a railway controller. Then another simple example of a electronic harness. So these are various images just to show a variety of cable harnesses in the field. And now let us see who are manufacturers of wiring harness. I have taken only a few of them. Automotive or electric vehicle, out of these, Yazaki is globally number one, and they have their presence in India also. They came as Tata Yazaki. Motherson Sumi is another very popular name in India, and most of the those who are in following share market, they know this share is quite popular amongst them. Sumitomo is, of course, Motherson Sumi's parent company. Dut Transmission is also an Indian company which has come out in very big manner. Minda is another. Leone Lear, both are multinationals, and T Connectivity is also multinational. This is a very small example of harness manufacturers making automotive, those working in automotive domain. And some of them are so big that they have presence in almost more than 150 countries globally. White goods, that is the washing machine, refrigerator, AC, everything. In UKB is Indian. Molex, we all know that they are connector company, but they are in a big way. They are in harness for last many years. Molex happens to be our very big client. Harness Techniques is another Indian company. L Componix, Celestics, these are all Indian companies, but they are catering only to white goods. Elevators, Geba Cables is a harness manufacturer only doing elevator harnesses. Harness Techniques, Celestics. So I'll just rush through them. Railway Metro, Alstom is a big name. BEML is our company. Titagarh is and Motherson. They make railway and metro harnesses. In telecom, there is Dureja Interconnect, RF&T, Celestics. Defense, these are some of the DCX, Sasmos, Data Pattern. These are some of the harness manufacturers. Aerospace, again, Sasmos is there. And in panels, there are separate harness manufacturers who make panel harnesses. Medical equipment, there are some harness manufacturers. And many OEMs make their own harnesses. For example, most of the UPS inverter people make, many of them make their own harnesses. Welding machines, people make their own harnesses, but sometimes they might offload also. So this is a small list of harness manufacturers to get acquainted. All these people are harness manufacturers are associated with their OEs, so they are not much known in the public. We don't go and buy in the shop that give me this harness. So now coming to technology of wiring harness, there are various components in a wiring harness, and the most basic is of course cables and wires. So there are various types, like gauge is different type, color, strand, and many other parameters. I have not mentioned all of them, but these are very broad parameters. Then who are the manufacturers? Lap cable is quite popular. Phenolics makes them, Polycab makes them, and again list goes on, but I have just mentioned a few. Then connector or coupler is a very important part, and the variety is huge, and that is type is there, size, color, application. Every application of wiring harness has a different type of coupler. Electronic coupler we will not find in automotive. Automotive couplers are quite different than electronic couplers, and will not find similar couplers in white goods. In railways, they are again different. Anyway, so the application is important, material is important. Molex is very known, well-known coupler manufacturer, and that is of course a multinational. TT Terminal Technology is an Indian company. Tyco Electronics or TE is another very important coupler manufacturer, and there are many more again. Sumitomo is there, that makes automotive. Harting Saura, you are mainly for say railway, metro, and high-end couplers, high power. Amphenol, FCI, all these are defense and railway, metro, all these couplers are there. Terminals, again, as connector and coupler changes, terminals change. Their size is important, shape is important, type, that is male, that tab, or female and receptacle. All these, both these names are popular in industry. Then they come in loose form or roll form. Then their material is important. Who makes them are Molex, TT, TE, Sumitomo. Everyone who makes connector and coupler makes terminals. Then there are clamps and clips and cable ties with different shapes, size, type. There are various tubes which are covering the wires. Their material is important, size is important, type is important. Like they can be heat shrinking, they can be corrugated, they can be plain tube, and material is also important. Then there are seals. Those seals are important, mainly rubber. They might be rubber parts to to make a connector waterproof, or to make the harness waterproof. Then there are various rubber parts, and of course electric insulation tapes are also important, and there might be some other parts which as per requirement of wiring harness design. Going ahead, this is a small glimpse of various connectors. There are thousands. I might be a little bit more, what I can say, that there are thousands and thousands of types of connectors. We cannot imagine, and it's very difficult for a designer also to select a connector. There are some thumb rules, so people go according to that. And you can see the variety of connectors. Some are automotive, some are used in railway, metro, some are used in EV, defense, and white goods. So various types of connectors are available, and since there are various types of connectors, various types of terminals are also available. So they range from very small, of course voltage current is the basic parameter to be checked, and based on those the terminal types and size and everything changes. We have seen who makes connectors, but they come in strip form as in second image, and they come loose, they come in strip form. So these are whole lot of connectors, terminal types, they are available. Now going ahead, let us in short look at cable harness manufacturing process. There might be people who know much more than this, but this is a very broad process I have written here. Of course, design happens to be first one. So where circuit is drawn, wires are decided, connectors are decided, branch lengths are decided, and there are there are many harness design software, specific harness design software similar to PCB design software. As we know that there are very specific PCB designing software, there are very specific harness design softwares. Capital H happens to be one of important. Hardware is there. AutoCAD has, if I know correctly, AutoCAD has a module which designs harness, and there are few more. So right from design, it gives design and bill of material and everything. So that is the first step. And most of the OEs make their own design, but some of the high-end harness manufacturers have their own capability. So they might work closely with OEs. Then the next step is manufacturing step now. So first one is to cut the cable and cut and strip. I have taken two operations in one because nowadays cutting and stripping is done simultaneously. We might be using on small level. So there are huge machines available. Machine Makers is one of them, which is an Indian company. In India also people make um, harness cutting and cable cutting and stripping machines. Machine Makers is one of them. Sai Paradise is there. Comax happens to be global leader. Schluniger is a now part of Comax, and so Comax is a big leader in wiring harness industry for making all these machines. Um, and they are whatever website says is that they're only in right now harness cable processing, wire processing business right now. Then after cut and strip comes crimping. Now there are various many machines, high-end machines which do this operation cut, strip, crimp all together. So there is a crimping that is mainly jointing. It joins a stripped cable to the terminal. So that is the basic operation of crimping. It is totally mechanical operation. And there is sometimes ultrasonic welding is also used joining. Soldering was quite popular earlier, but nowadays very few. I have not seen soldering recently in last 20 years at least. So crimping happens to be a very fast and the more reliable process. Ultrasonic welding is also used. So what we need there is a terminal or lug connecting to a cable. Also splice meaning, for example, if there is a ground wire or ground wire in a vehicle, you can just imagine that it is connected all together. It has to be, the ground has to be common. So there are multiple wires connected together. Splice is not a connector, it is a connection, or mid joint is also known as. So there are various machines available. We'll see some videos later. So Comax, Luniger, again, these are all big names which make these machines. Then after cut, strip, crimp, the whole process till by as on today is manual process. That is making a sub assembly. The crimp cable is inserted in a coupler or a connector and properly inserted at correct location. So there is a um, error called TBO. We'll have a look at it. In sub-assembly, one has to keep track of terminal back out, what it is called. And to guide that, um, uh, there are some equipments, gadgets, which are introduced earlier also, and now also they are becoming quite popular. Futura, that is our company, I have put name first here. And incidentally, we got Parkhe award for this particular product, what we call as harness assembly aid, about 2 years back. Then after making a sub assembly, it is comes a routing or forming. So there we need boards, and there are some clips. I won't say clips. There are some components which are used for routing. Earlier, when I was in college, we have learned that there is a nail board. So there are nails wherever there a round comes. But now it has become quite sophisticated. The Y forks are there, which are used for routing. Then there are clips, ties, labels, and who makes all these is a there are Pandit and Novoflex. These are some of the companies. Then after completing the routing and taping and assembly, now comes the test bench. So In test bench, what is checked is basically continuity, turn back out, air leakage, parts presence, and there are various uh, manufacturers who are making this. We are one of them, of course. MDEP, Comax, Ceres, they all happen to be uh, multinationals, and this is fixture. I'm talking about fixture here. That means in any test equipment or any test system, there are two parts. One is a fixture, or where we mount the DUT or device under test, and it is connected through that board to the test equipment. So this is a testing fixture. So practically we have to make a matching part of a connector and mount it on the uh, board and fixture. We'll have a look at it afterwards. Let us first finish the process. Then comes the actual test equipment. Here also there are some multinationals. We are also there, and there are some requirements of a test equipment. Then comes the final packing or kitting. So this is generally a process, and so we can see that I mean, we can just safely say that 50% of it is automatic and remaining is manual process completely. Now I would like to um, have a glimpse of some videos. Let us have a look at some videos. Now I'll just brush through all videos, maybe slightly faster. So I'm starting here. This is a this is a simple stripping machine. I'll go fast here. So wire cutting and stripping. This is a so we can see the speed and the requirement. Every wire can be of different gauge, different color. So, and this is just one type. There are so many types of them.
Video is not visible.
Asa? Okay. We have tried actually earlier. 1 minute, huh? 1 minute.
The screen is visible, but the video.
Yeah, the slide is visible.
1 minute.
म्हणजे स्क्रीन शेअर झालाय पण तुम्ही ते बहुतेक आय डोंट नो.
आता दिसतंय का हे?
नाही.
नाही.
माझा स्क्रीन दिसतोय?
हा स्क्रीन
Just
दिसतोय.
screen दिसतोय.
करू सुरू परत?
हो.
मला वाटतं आपण चौघच जण आहोत. ठीक आहे, देन आय विल बी मोर रिलॅक्स.
दिसतोय आता.
हो हो करतो. हे काय this is wire cutting stripping. I will not waste more time here. Current. Okay. परत तोच उघडला. 1 मिनिट हा. हा तो मगाचा व्हिडिओ 4 वाला. Is it visible video?
Yes sir, yes sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So this is just a wire stripping is there. Then I will move on to this is a very huge machine for cut, strip, crimp. All these 3 operations in one go. So anyway, this is mainly mechanical operation, cut, strip and crimp. Then comes the harness sub-assembly making. So I'll just So here trays are there. In trays, wires, crimped wires are kept. Now operator is picking up correct wire, inserting at correct location, and the other end also inserted at correct location. So this is a completely manual process, and this is just one of the what I can say arrangements suitable for that particular company. So every harness manufacturer will have similar type of thing, and this is using a gadget, but without gadget also people do all sort of tasks like using drawings and everything. So I think we'll move on. Now I
Yes.
will just show another example of this is what is our equipment. I will just move ahead. So this is a simple wire of demonstration of 3-pole to 3-pole coupler. So there are two fixtures there. These are fixtures where empty couplers will be mounted, and there are 3 crimped wire trays. We call it tray. So it's a very small example, but it can be very complex as we have seen earlier. So there are 3 trays where 3 crimped wires are kept, and uh, empty couplers are inserted first, and then unit started. So first one is it to pick from where to pick the wire, that is indicated. Then where to insert is also there. So the operator inserts there without and then pulls it. Now this is a error, typical error, what we call as terminal backout. That is to prevent that. So I'll come to terminal backout also. After pulling, then it is next where to insert the next another point, another end is also indicated. It is inserted here, pulled, and so this is a one wire. Now similarly all 3 wires will be indicated, and after completing the assembly it will say pass and it will move on to next assembly. Now this is 100% programmable, and it can have any type of sub assembly can be done here. Now coming to crimping, that is terminal backout. 1 minute, I'll just so this is a small example of terminal backout. We can see that this terminal is, it is half cut connector. It is inserted, the terminal, it looks like this, and the terminal gets locked actually. The terminal gets locked inside here at this location, and so while inserting the terminal, if terminal doesn't get locked, then it is known as a terminal backout, because it cannot be checked at the time of a continuity also for various reasons. It is only detected when it is assembled on the assembly line of OE. So that is a very painful error, and no one can make out where what is wrong and where it is wrong. So there, as we can see here, the lock is there. So this error is known as terminal backout. Now after this, I will just like to run after this sub assembly. Then it goes to final assembly, that is routing the board. I have taken some small video from here. Nowadays conveyorized systems are very popular. We can see the complexity of wiring. There are so many components here. The harness is quite big. It looks to be a automobile 4-wheeler harness, and operators have to really run and do the assembly in on a moving board, as we can see here. Now after this assembly, it goes for packing. So is my screen visible now? I'm back to presentation.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, so coming back to cutting wire cut and strip, correct length, gauge, color, type. So that has to be there. And then going ahead, we have seen crimping, cut strip. We have seen crimping rather. So there are huge machines available, which I have seen and given a small photograph, and we have also seen in videos. So it is a very critical process. In any jointing process, as we know, is defined in quality terms as critical process. This is a defined as generally critical process because we cannot check whether crimp is correct or not after crimping it. So the process control happens to be very, very important factor. So process control depends on, as we all know, machine, applicators. Applicator is a type of what I can say a die like thing where mechanically it is only for that particular terminal and it holds the jointing. Then terminal lugs are important, operator is important, the force with which the crimping is done, it is important, the material of terminal is also important. So this is very important. So sample tests are taken because once we set the crimping machine, sample has to be checked and reports are there. There are some automotive OEs who need report with every batch of cable harness, report of crimping. So the old type of test, or still it is done, it is a pull test, that is the crimping force, how much, at what force it breaks. Then second recent one is called micrograph laboratory, we'll have a look at it. And crimp force monitor is also another gadget which is generally used. Crimping happens to be a very, very important process in whole assembly process, manufacturing process of cable harness. So going with micrograph laboratory, as I have said, pull strength is one of them. Then micrograph laboratory is a sample test. Of course, a cross section of the crimp joint is taken. I have next slide also giving that. And crimp force monitor. This is a very useful gadget with connected to a crimping machine where force of each joint is measured and plotted. Rather, I will say that earlier programmed, say in statistical terms, the minimum good sample size is taken and programmed in the machine, which draws a curve and we can state the maximum minimum limits, and then every joint of terminal, every crimping is compared with this particular graph, and then at that point itself we can say that it is acceptable crimp joint or not. This is known as crimp force monitor. It has become now mandatory, at least in automobile case for high-end automobile harnesses. This has become mandatory to be mounted on a crimp on every crimping machine. Then coming to micrograph laboratory, okay, the question arises that can a bad crimp be detected by test equipment? And the answer till today, according to me, is no. A bad crimp is loose crimping, less strands crimped, crimped at a wrong location of a terminal. The answer is, as per my knowledge, is no. Coming to micrograph laboratory, automotive people like they have come out with a very, very detailed study of a crimp joint. We can see here a cross section of crimp joint which looks like this. There are strands, and on right hand side I have shown, and this is a magnified cross section of a crimp joint, and where to take cross section, that is also defined. Very detailed study is there, and there are roughly 10-12 parameters to be measured for a crimp joint, of course sample checking. But when the setting is changed, this has to be carried out, and you can see that there are so many parameters. These are to be measured. These are measured on a micrograph laboratory, that is a typical name, and that process is also quite cumbersome. It's not a straight cut and look. There is electrochemical etching is involved to have so much clarity. So this is also an important test carried out for a crimped joint, because crimping is a very, very important process. Now, as I said that terminal backout. So terminal backout, we have seen right now that what is the error. So there are various methods to check terminal backout. One of them is in harness assembly. During harness assembly, after insertion, the operator has to pull the wire so that it is locked there. So because in critical harnesses like airbag, there is no rework allowed. So if the operator makes mistake, then it has to be thrown really. So this is one of the earlier we have seen one example, but still there are some images to just show complexity of boards, how complex they are. Then coming to testing, this is our test equipment. On right hand side is a non-modular one. On left hand side it is a modular one. So all globally both are accepted. The right one we have exported to Kenya actually. It tests around 5 different harnesses. On left hand side also it is a modular one. So the modular one advantage is that if the harness design changes, it is very easily it can be replaced or it can be changed. Now, okay, then there are some. I'll again go back to video if possible. Is video seen there? Is video visible?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry. So, 1 minute. So it is not running actually. Why I don't know. So this is one of the test equipments which is our test equipment, modular one. So this is a test on the tester side. You can see that on images of cable where the error is there is also seen, and this is a modular test bench, and the fixtures are also important part. They are also modular one, and so the continuity checked and air leakage is checked, and there are various testing carried out on this particular. Okay, anyway, I will just go back to presentation. These are various types of test equipments. These are all actually I have shown our equipment, but there is MDEP makes, Comax also makes test equipment because they have taken over a lot of various harness tester manufacturers. MK, Cyrus, these are all test equipment manufacturers. You can see here there are multiple test equipment. MK is a huge test equipment manufacturer, quite popular amongst railway and metro. And these are test stations, and Cyrus makes Dynalab. Then just to 1042, okay. So harness manufacturing is a complex process actually, yet quite a lot neglected, as we can see from our presence today here. So there are manual operations, there are mechanical operations, there are electrical operations, there are documents are required, traceability is required. Then harness fail, what can be, there can be open circuit, wrong cavity insertion, shortage is there, terminal backout is another very important error which has to be found out. Bad crimping is very important. So going ahead, I'll just rush through now. So terminal backout I have already discussed. Then bad crimping are there. These are some examples, like some strands coming out, the crimping is loose. If crimping is loose, of course, it will not carry current. So process improvement has to be there using LED guided or whatever we have seen. And the basic part in harness is that there has to be 100% testing. I can't test 99% and say that my remaining 1% will be okay, because there is manual process involved. Every harness has to be checked properly. So what is expected from a harness tester, or what the harness manufacturers expect from a tester are mainly electrical checks. Of course, HV withstand is also important in case of electric vehicles, because already in four-wheeler the battery voltage goes up to 600, 650 volts, and the production usability, fast cycle time, that it has to be used in multiple designs, and data is required now. So the barcode label printing is a part of harness tester, and data is required for every harness pass. Some of the harness manufacturers demand from us. We are ready with that already. So good fixturing and test blocks are important. That I'll not spend time on this. So this is a type of test table, test bench. It has fixture, tester, software, everything it has required is there. So future of cable harness is quite bright, and because most of the developing countries and semi-developed countries like India, we have wherever there is good manpower, this harness industry is flourishing. Mexico is one of the very big harness manufacturer for complete US, and of course, at many places it is flourishing. So the harness, we know, I'll not go more into that. We have all discussed about it. 100% testing is required. What are the challenges in manufacturing is also discussed. So thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you,
Can I talk?
Girish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, overview of the harness industry and opportunities. That's a great one. We'll take few questions. So any questions, please fire. Identify yourself.
Sir, can I talk?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Actually, it was a great talk, but unfortunately, the audience was not there. It is as usually the quality and quantity are the relations. Now it is our duty, म्हणजे रबडे sir, तुम्ही, मी आणि या मॅडम आहेत त्या, to propagate this message.
Arey, Baba, our recording hits are quite high compared to attendance. Always.
नाही नाही, आपण या लाईक माइंडेड आणि कन्सर्न लोकांशी हे पोहोचलं पाहिजे आता. आणि रबडे सर, देन रंगराजन सर,
that will reach you. Go ahead with your question. Please go ahead with your question.
आणि सर, हो सर, ऐका तुम्ही जरा 2 मिनिटं. आता हे सगळं रेकॉर्ड होते आणि 2 मिनिटं ऐका जरा. तर इट इज आवर रबडे सर, रंगराजन sir, and quite a few among in our tech forum, we are thinking about good engineering practices as a subject to students, okay, who are in engineering college. For example, this harness is also might not be known to wire harness, might not be known to students as their curriculum. And then so it is a great insight actually. So my question was the testing because I'm jumping to question because he is actually preventing me from talking. That in the testing, sir, are there destructive testing, or if and it is destructive testing, then you will not get that harness to your work, na? It will be damaged.
So destructive testing is only in case of crimping.
It's okay.
So it is a sample check, of course. Destructive testing
Right.
is a sample
Okay.
check.
As a sample, because only crimping, sir. Otherwise, you may have to put a voltage and then see the its effect, counter effect, heat generation, then deterioration, something like short is there.
All these
I will talk about that
please,
repair
please.
part in the what happens is modern harnesses on automobiles contain at least 1K, that is 1000 connections, 2000 connections. So most of the times, depending upon fault, if there is an individual fault, it gets repaired by manual process. But it is if it is a fault in a group, like a 50-pin connector, there is a fault. That becomes a big task for identifying the fault as well as repairing it. But individual cable faults mostly can be repaired. Is it right, Girish?
Yes, but
Sir? Madam,
Makaran sir, your
me,
question of destructive testing, what you were saying that
no,
all
no.
these tests,
मी ऍक्च्युली रिपेअर आणि मेंटेनन्स साठी नव्हतो बोलत. मी
कळलं
बोलत
मला.
होतो की
मी मी
म्हणजे
तुमचा प्रश्न उत्तर देतो, मला बरोबर लक्षात आलंय.
या
So
थँक्यू.
what you are saying is a part of design of wiring harness that is known as type test. So जेव्हा first time when it is made harness, first design, first prototype, and design section takes care of it. What I have talked about is all manufacturing process. Nothing
या या
or nothing. So design, while designing a harness, all whatever you are saying test required tests will be taken. So they are not done on everyday manufacturing. Once the design is final,
That's the problem, sir. No, no, I'm not talking. I'm talking beyond design. If somebody has got workmanship, somebody
Huh.
has got some skill of reliable, I mean to say, of doing the things. Okay, and if the next person is different skill, different reliability, so the problem occurs. So what I mean
yes,
to say is that not in the design phase. I'm talking about the manufacturing, or you can say routine, the testing, or the means how to identify. Now you already said. That's why I have extended my question to that. The crimping fault, you just cannot, there is no way the crimping fault can be detected or whatever. So my question was that it's a big thing actually. And then if we have got a destructive testing, and destructive does not mean physical, physically pulling. I mean to say destructive testing may be applying the voltage, passing the current, applying the means applying the load resistance or something like that. And then eventually it can, the cable itself, the harness itself can get strained and stressed because of the testing itself. So how to go about it?
yes. So according to me, the that is why I have always I am in what I am putting more emphasis on process. The process has to be correct.
Yes, yes.
All these things. So and maybe madam is a better person to answer your question.
Yeah.
Madam, तुम्ही काही याच्यावर सांगू शकता?
Like you said, process is obviously important, and it is an interdisciplinary engineering. So whatever component goes in, it must be right in first place. Otherwise, any defect is very expensive in repair. And that's where I said that if it is individual cable defect that is detected during testing, it can be repaired. But if it
So
is
the,
a
I will give one small
cable.
example, Makaran sir.
Uh-huh.
Critical harness like airbag harness,
Mm.
there is no repair allowed. I will repeat. Like airbag harness,
Yes, yes.
if the operator makes mistake, I have given test equipments where our customers ask that if there is an error, the harness has to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
If the tester
Yes, yes.
finds there is an error, there should be a signal which will cut the wiring harness. So it is up to
Yes, yes.
that level because the penalties are huge in may not be in India, but at other places penalties if the
Yes.
harness is found faulty and if there is
Insurance
some
is involved. Insurance company is involved.
their
Insurance company is involved in
penalties
that.
are huge penalties are there.
Now, next question was about the madam actually, madam mentioning maintenance. So maintenance actually has two fundas, preventive and preventive and the breakdown. In breakdown, what she was saying was right actually. It is very difficult and etc. But preventive measures of wire harness, what you can suggest? Routine checkups.
uh, routine checkup normally nobody does, but
No.
and it should not be required by design,
That's
because I'll give you one example. Earlier connectors were never sealed. Now to avoid malfunction due to dust, water, etc., people are spending more money and going in for sealed connectors. Now that solves many of the problems, but cost increases. Now the say supplier of cable or the user of cable, like automobile, they have to choose between the cost and the not requiring maintenance. So most of the times they do not do, other than cleaning, they do not do any maintenance, or they run diagnostic routines to find out if there is a fault in the sensor or whatever it is. that gets highlighted in the diagnosis of the vehicle and then they attend. Normally, daily maintenance is not required.
No, not daily, periodical, I mean to say.
And in periodical, there is a one point where everybody must take care of. That is when they add something on automobiles. Many a times, like air conditioner, people buy a car without AC, they add AC, and the person who does the wiring, he is likely to do the mistake. So the care has to be taken when there is any addition, there is some feature added, some new gadget fitted on the vehicle. The original harness gets disturbed. And nowadays, I'll give you a simplest example of a harness. You have chargers at home, and charger has variety of terminals like C terminal, iPhone terminal. Now, how do you maintain your charger? People don't want to maintain, they will use it. If it doesn't work, they'll throw and replace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And in the cars, it is not easily accessible. That is another problem with bigger automobiles.
No, I will share my experience. One experience was, as you already said in your line only, I'm telling. Once you have a home with a proper wiring and all that, you try to add AC. Freeze and microwave doesn't matter. But if you try to add a AC, then you have to check from your meter itself how much is the cable diameter, what is the size of cable you are using.
Gauge of cable.
Otherwise, it is not good to put a AC. And even the next step is that when you have to add the AC to the next bedroom, second bedroom, that the same thing happens. If you have already taken care of the first AC, that does not mean your second AC will be you are happy with. And I have experienced in my car after years of working, say something like 10 years old car. So that harness was actually went bad, and I changed the harness and everything was good. So I experienced in the business, sorry, in the my industrial exposure also I found the harness actually gets कडक होतं कडक म्हणजे that it gets stiff. It gets
that is
I don't know what
related
it
to again the type of the insulation used on the wires, a type of connectors. Many connectors they break. If you try removing it, plastic breaks. So that is the related to quality, and the solution given by the government is you scrap your car after 15 years. That kind of.
It is not car in real life business or industrial exposures also that the quality of a wire, quality of a connector is not in your hand. Actually, you are exposed to that particular machine
But you need to ask for
or
it.
equipment.
While designing, you have to build it in.
It's okay. I'm not talking about the design. I'm talking at the working stage of it, using usage part of it.
Normally,
And sir,
diagnostics
it
is the way
actually
maintenance is done using diagnostics nowadays to find out the condition of harness.